Now let's go into the Federal Reserve. This was epic. One of the best interviews of all time, in my opinion. Take a look. Absolutely incredible.
Forbes, right?
Yeah, this guy.
Chairman Powell, just want to make certain I understand this correctly. Control inflation and maximize employment. That's it. Two things, correct?
Yes.
So let's take one at a time. Maximize employment. Do you care if every American makes minimum wage or makes a livable wage? Is that something that factors into your thought process? In other words, we have full employment, but most Americans are on substandard wages. Does that change your calculus?
Does it change my what?
Calculus. Does it? You can't. In other words, is it full employment? Is full employment? Every American has a job, but they're making minimum wage versus having a family-sustaining wage. Does that matter to the Federal Reserve?
It would matter to the country a lot.
I'm saying, does it matter to the Federal Reserve when you're making your decision?
Honestly, we don't really have the tools to affect that.
Right. So it doesn't factor in. Now that's different than us. The people of this country elect us to make certain that their wages are higher than inflation. And by the way, let the records show that real wages are up this year. So we've done that, not the Federal Reserve. Second piece of it is, let's talk about inflation first.
Well, we've helped control inflation, which is part of that.
We're going to jump right into the inflation conversation. There's different kinds of inflation. There's different causes. There's not witnesses to inflation. There's key actors to inflation. Would you agree?
Sure.
Okay. So let's talk about the actors. Did you comment during COVID lockdowns that was a bad idea, meaning that you're shutting down the entire economy? It's not a button. I hit the button, you can hear me. It's on and off. COVID wasn't that. We just shut down the economy. Any comments on that?
Of course not.
Okay, so you didn't comment on that. Vaccine mandates, something that my Democrat colleagues loved. If you don't get the vaccine, you're a terrible human being. You can't go to work. In fact, Joe Biden was overruled by the Supreme Court because he said that if you work in a company with more than 100 employees and you don't get vaccinated, the company has the ability to fire you, unless you prove that you're negative on COVID. That obviously is a supply chain shock, wouldn't you agree? If I'm running an assembly line and now I have to put my people 6 feet apart and now I have people quitting or not coming to work or I have to fire them, that's a supply chain shock, wouldn't you agree?
I mean, it's a medical thing that you
No, but it's a supply chain shock.
George Washington.
I'm not asking you to make a medical decision. I'm asking you to make a Fed decision on inflation.
way outside anything we would comment.
But it affects inflation because supply.
It didn't, in fact.
Are you saying that supply chain shocks don't affect inflation?
They do, but that
Okay, they
one
do.
didn't.
So that's clearly one. If you ban the export of liquid natural gas, which is going to cause the commodity price to go up, would that supply shock not also cause inflation?
Potentially could.
Yeah. So, and now the ranking member loves to talk about billionaire corporations, that are going to get away with paying taxes, right? Who pays corporate taxes? Like, who pays it? Is it like some obscure Wizard of Oz character behind the curtain that is a corporate entity that pays taxes? Who pays taxes?
I mean, ultimately, it's
We do.
shareholders and customers.
So I'm going to read you a line. You tell me this is accurate. On taxes, it's not possible to know in advance precisely how the costs will be shared for taxes. I added
Correct.
that.
I would
But
agree.
it is highly likely that consumers will pay a meaningful share. Meaning if the ranking member has her way, let's just tax corporations at 100%. Why not? Be fantastic, right? Oh, nobody would want to start a company, but that aside, that cost would be added to consumer products, correct?
Yep.
A tax or a tariff? What are you talking about now?
If the
Explain
income
them.
tax for American corporations goes up, they will share that tax burden with their consumers. True or false?
Yeah, ultimately.
Yeah. So then taxes do raise inflation, but you don't comment on.
I mean, they haven't,
and
though.
you don't.
It's
but
just
you don't.
not true. I mean,
I got
empirically, it's not true.
The chairman's going to beat me up in 56 seconds. So, but you sent me a very nice letter, which I appreciate. And it says the Federal Reserve plays no role in commenting on trade policy. So you don't comment on supply shocks. You don't comment on tax policy, which clearly affects inflation. You don't comment on demand pull. You just said now that we should forgive student debt. Why is a person that goes to Harvard, that gets a gender studies major, pays Harvard obscene amounts of money because professors are grossly overpaid there? Is that person better than a working class Ohioan that is a plumber but can't afford a car because interest rates are too high and car prices have gone up. Why is that person? Why don't we forgive that person's car loan instead of forgiving their student loan? But you don't comment on that. You comment on tariffs. So I'm going to just show you.
I don't comment on tariffs at all, actually. I comment
You've
on
only
inflation.
commented on tariffs. You've
I'm
only
not commenting
commented
on the
tariffs.
wisdom of tariffs.
Look,
He's done it.
the chairman's
He's
over
done
there
it
in the
multiple times
conversation. I'm
already,
going to show
where
you
he's
a chart
commented on
here.
tariffs.
This is car prices.
I'm
This
paying
is-
attention,
this is-
however. You're
This is car
analyzing.
prices since this year. Car prices are down. Car prices are down. Inflation in America is down. We got elected by millions of voters. You got elected by one person. He doesn't want you to be in that job. And you are costing this government $400 billion a year by refusing to lower interest rates. Nobody in this chamber has that kind of power to have a $400 billion impact on this economy, on our deficit. And I just think that you should consider whether you're really looking at this from a fiscal lens or a political lens, because you just don't like tariffs.
Yep.
Senator
All right, that's
Warnock
it.
is next.
Wasn't that awesome? He did such a good job at exposing this snake that happens to be the Fed chair. Absolutely incredible. So I think that, I don't think they can remove him. I'm not really sure how that works, but if that was the case, he would have been removed. I don't think they can actually remove him. I think he has like a 10-year, or I don't know how long he's supposed to be in there for, but if they could have removed him, they would have done it already. But the fact that he was just exposed that he didn't do anything during COVID when everything went spiked up. He didn't do anything when Biden decided to pretty much ban fossil fuels because he wanted this whole Green New Deal scam. And he knew that was going to spike up energy prices. He knew that was going to spike up gas and how much it costs to buy a car. And he didn't do anything about it. And then he didn't do anything until the campaign of Kamala Harris. And that's when he decided to lower the rates. And it's like, wow. I'm not a huge economy buff, I'm not really it's kind of a boring topic, even though it's extremely important. It's literally our money, and it affects us, literally our pocket. But it's not because it's not exciting, it's not entertaining. A lot of people don't like to talk about it, or they just kind of skip it, But the reality is, it is important, and we should be more aware of it. That's why I'm bringing it up, because at the end of the day, the Federal Reserve is one of the most important independent agencies that is not governmental, but it definitely controls the economy. So I think that we need to put more eyes on that, because at the end of the day, it affects us individually, especially if you are a business owner. So I just want you guys to see that. Tell me what you guys think about it. I think he got served, but you can think otherwise. Let me know in the comments.